Hello, you're watching Lighthouse Bitesize, and if at any point you want to get in contact, you feel God is saying something to you, or you just want to reach out, then you can email us at hello@lighthousesheringham.org, okay? And I'll come through to one of the team. Someone will get back to you. Without any further ado, this is Lighthouse Bitesize.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin, mother and child. Holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in peace. Peace. Heavenly peace. Peace. Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plains, and the mountains in reply, echoing their joyous strains. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Come to Bethlehem and see him whose birth the angels sing. Come adore on bended knee, Christ the Lord, the newborn King. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo.
Joy to the world,
The Lord is come
He rules the world.
with truth and grace. The Savior reigns. The Savior reigns. Oh, come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Oh, come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold him, born the King of angels. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore. Come and behold him, born the King of angels. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ. We sing Gloria, Gloria, Gloria in excelsis Deo. Amen.
This Sunday is the first Sunday of Advent. Advent is obviously the 4 Sundays leading up to kind of Christmas, and you might be part of church, then they're lighting candles, and different candles, believe it or not, mean different things. And this week, different candles of different weeks. This Sunday, or this candle, if you like, is the candle of hope. And we just have a short video now of just some kind of poetry, spoken word stuff around hope. But I just wanted to kind of leave us with a story and kind of pray for us before we go into it. In that maybe this year was nothing like you hoped for. I think we entered this year thinking, okay, great, it's got to get better than last year. Surely we're going to come out of lockdown and we'll be back on track. And you had all these different hopes and dreams for what 21 was going to be about. And I don't know about you, but it didn't meet up to any of my expectations. And I'm not sure the next few will either. And so I just want to leave you with this thought that actually it doesn't matter what we put hope in. All those little things, I hope it's going to be different this year, or I hope my team's going to win, or I hope this. And we hope for all these different things, but actually it doesn't matter, because the ultimate hope that we have in Jesus Christ, the ultimate hope in the coming Messiah, is the real thing that changes. It's the real deal, and it changes everything. That no matter what else goes on, when things let you down or things don't work the way you want, we still can put our hope and our trust and our dreams and our future in the Jesus Christ, the Messiah. So enjoy this next video, and I'll see you again after.
In the beginning was a dream. The dream was God's hope, and God was hope. Spoke his imagination to a world that only knew void, and translated it into everything that is here now. That hope has come again. In the midst of despair and nightmares, God's dream for our lives has come true. This hope that turns a trough into a throne, as creator steps into creation and the ruler becomes a servant. This hope that makes a map out of stars, leads wise men to the place where God is doing the miraculous. This hope that declares that distance has become near, but the Lord's promise is finally here at last, Emmanuel. With man he dwells in and among us, just as God had always dreamed it would be since the beginning. In the beginning, when he chose to love us even after we chose another, he promised that a chosen one would come and choose to take on flesh, choose to take on death, and lay down his life to pay the price for all of our poor choices. Like where we place our hopes, mine are often more Christmas than they are Advent, more focused on stuff or things than it is nativity. We place our longings in lifeless objects and hope that wrapping them in our affection will somehow turn them to gifts. We've gotten too good at decorating dead trees, but our God has sown a seed in the hopes that we might be rooted in his dream for our lives. This hope that turns shepherds into watchmen, that those who have gone unnoticed will be the first to bear witness to the good news. This hope that turns doubters into dreamers, for just as God's Spirit had moved in Mary's womb and also on the canvas of Joseph's mind, our God has coated many colors on his paintbrush to paint his imagination on the backs of our eyelids. See now. That hope has come again, that God's dream has once more invaded our sleeping world to transform our unexpecting hearts through the miracle of an expecting virgin. How else could we hope for tomorrow unless a son be given to us? And he has. Hope has come and hope is yet coming. May we all prepare to receive the coming of what we truly need. May we prepare to receive this dream and the hope that it brings. May we prepare to receive the coming of our King, the coming of our hope.
So last week and this week are kind of on the series of lessons of lockdown. And so last week, by all means, go back and watch it. It's on our YouTube channel. I talked about a couple of different areas which weren't my words. I was completely taking them from someone else. But one was the idea of a blizzard. So is lockdown like a blizzard that you just hunker down for 2 days, wait for it to pass and then get on? No. Was it like a deep winter where you do have to hunker down, but you do have to change and do some things differently to carry on living? But ultimately, you know, spring is coming, so it's going to go back the way it always was? No. So is it then like a mini ice age? So not only do you have to change whilst the ice age is going on, and you have to change and you have to carry on living, but also the landscape has completely changed. So when you come out of lockdown, you then have to change again and learn how to live in the new world. And the other thing I said was, from this guy, was people use the word testing. I feel like I've been tested during lockdown. And from him it was, well, what was if they were the lessons and now is the test? What was if the lessons that we learn during those times, now we're coming out of, now we're post-lockdown, have you taken those and have you actually learned and changed? And so what I want to share with you today is kind of what I've learned, I suppose, my takeaway from lockdown. When we first went into lockdown, I went into part-time furlough, and so I was working from home, like many people were. Now there came with its challenges. I mean, I feel like I was born to be outside and to do various different things. So to being stuck behind a screen, was challenging at first. However, I was able to witness my children growing up. Now, my children, Phoebe just turned 3 the week before we went into lockdown. Judah was 1 and a bit. And so I was able to witness, particularly him, like he was just beginning to, he was just walking, just talking. I've been able to witness him grow up to be like, from a baby, felt like, to a little child. And I got to witness so many firsts and be present because I was working part-time, from home. And I would never get those moments back. And we went on lots of walks. Hands up if you can remember going out for a walk once a day. You were allowed out your house once a day, yeah? That was a challenge. Now, as an adult, you're thinking, great, once a day, that's all I've got. I'm going to go out and I'm going to get my miles in. I want to get my heart rate up. I want to get it pumping. With a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, distance isn't really a thing. Like, Phoebe, she could kind of walk a bit. Judah was just beginning to walk. And so even in a pushchair, it was like, we can walk for a bit, but how far are you going to go? But I noticed I was very destination driven or very goal driven. Like, okay, right, I want to get to here. I want to get the miles in. So we used to live in Holt at the time. And so it's like, right, I want to walk to Leatherinset, right, and back. Completely just unrealistic with a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. Or I want to do this, and we need to get here and back so that I can get lunch on. And I try to put some sort of structure in the day. Otherwise you go crazy, right? But with a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, all of a sudden, rocks become really important, right? So we go out, step out the door, and it's like, oh, a puddle. Whoa, it's like they've never seen a puddle before. And like, it's when you think about it, it is quite magical, right? That you just have water that you can splash in, and it's amazing. And at first, great, first couple of puddles, woo! And then after a while, you're like, I want to get to this point, right? Because the whole concept or the whole point of this walk is to get somewhere, is to get to this point, right? Judah, he would suddenly sit down in the middle of the road, and rocks and bark were magic. It was like rocks, like he'd never seen a rock before in his whole life, and it's just completely. And you're like, oh, come on, and you can feel the frustration build up in you because you want to get to a certain point, or you want to get there and back, and yet here's my son, just being annoying, if I'm honest, right, and just taking far too long over those points. And it took me a long time to realise that I was purely goal driven or destination driven. For me, it was all about the goal, all about the destination. For them, it was all about the journey. It was all about the journey. They didn't care if we got to Leatherinset or not, or they didn't care if we, and there's an element as a parent, okay, you've got a grace period before I'm hungry and the tears come because you've got to get food in them and all the rest of it. But they don't care in that moment about that stuff. It was all about the here and now and the seeing the stuff. And I had to let my children re-teach me the magic of the journey, of the things that we just go through life, that just happen, that we don't plan for, it isn't like, well, okay, well, I need to set this goal. And it isn't about that. It just happens to be come up in front of your face. And do you have the patience, and do you have the foresight, the listening to God's ear to think, oh, actually, is this a God interruption? Now, I'm not saying any goal is wrong, right? I think, I'm now taking these lessons and I'm kind of putting them through to today, and post lockdown, I'm trying to get back into work and put goals in it, and that's not wrong, right? I believe you need a goal, you need the thing to work towards. But what I see in Scripture, what I see around the life of Jesus, is he allowed himself to have these interruptions. That actually a lot of the time Jesus was going somewhere, and it was actually an interruption that is what is recorded and we read about as a story. The woman who touched Jesus' clothes. There's so many stories actually when you begin to realize and you read about them, that Jesus allowed himself to be interrupted. For my children, it was a puddle, or it was a rock, or it was a spider's web that was all of a sudden magic. They didn't care if we got somewhere or not. And I had to teach myself, okay, God, maybe you can speak once again through these little moments during my day. Now I'm taking that lesson into post-lockdown. I'm thinking, okay, yeah, I've got to have some goals into place. But actually it's still about those little moments. It's still about the individual that just happens to come through the door, that just happens to kind of have that conversation with, or just happens to have that moment with that person. Or that moment where something didn't happen the way I planned, and now all of a sudden I've got 15 minutes just to pray or to waste. And so that's the lesson. One of the lessons I'm taking through lockdown. It's about the journey, not always about the destination. I wonder what your lessons were that you have learned from lockdown that you need to continue and you need to live in the here and now with. If you can think of it right now, I'd encourage you to write it in the chat. There's a chat going on through this YouTube video, and you can write it in there. That would really encourage someone. It would encourage me. Maybe someone doesn't know, and when you write that in, they suddenly think, oh wow, yeah, actually I remember that during lockdown. Man, I need to hold on to that now we're kind of post lockdown. So I hope that's helped. God bless you. We're going to have one more song and then we're going to finish up. So I'll see you soon.
Rejoice.